Hey guys, it's your girl Mina Q, and we are back with another Love is Blind recap and review, episode 10 now. But before we get into that, let's get into my page and make sure you like, comment, and subscribe and stay connected with me. Let's do more than just Love is Blind here, baby. But right now, we're going to get back to these couples because they left us a little on the edge last time. So let's get into it. Now, when we left off on episode 10, Ashley and Tyler were having a very deep conversation about the fact that he did not let her know that he had fathered 3 kids through being a sperm donor. And she was very taken aback by that and felt blindsided and honestly just a little confused as to why he wouldn't have told her that through their entire conversations in the pods. But it seems like they've talked through it and they've decided to move past that moment, which I'm happy about because it's not like the worst thing in the world. It's something he definitely should have divulged, but nonetheless, they're going on dates, they're having a really great time, and getting into some wedding planning that seems really happy for both of them. Ramses and Melissa are still kind of in a weird space. I mean, they've had so many things that have come up. The background of her being in the military, them starting a family, the timeline, them using protection, not using protection. So many things that have come up in their relationship. And she's starting to feel a little unsure about whether he's still on board with them being together or not. So she's constantly asking him, like, hey, are you sure you still want to be with me? Are you still interested in this relationship? Do you want to get married? Like, we're seeing a different side of Marissa where she's actually uncertain for what seems like the first time in this situation. Now, it seems as though she was going through having her period or something of that nature because she brings up that she's not really feeling like herself, that she's sick. Now, we don't know if this is like some bigger sickness that they're not just letting us know, or if she's just on her period and she's having like a tough time, which a lot of women do on their periods, and things can change pretty drastically for them. So they're kind of going through this ebb and flow where he's like, hey, I just need to know, like, is this something that is like long term? Is it always going to be like this? Is this like what can I expect in terms of our relationship? Because he's looking for, I guess, what he's calling like more physical affection from her. And it's seeming like during this time, whether it be she's sick in one way or another, she's just not really feeling like being close to him or close to anyone or anything. So they kind of struggle through that moment and that conversation. And for the first time, we see them both in a place of like, oh, what are we going to do here? Now, everything in this episode was so piping hot. I mean, they came with everything for episode 10 because Taylor and Garrett, my sweethearts, my little babies, the ones that I thought nothing could ever happen and they would do no wrong. Oh, Garrett. So Garrett ends up getting a text message from an ex-girlfriend who says something to him about who knows what. But he tells Taylor that he liked the message and just went about his day. And she's like, okay, well, like, okay, why wouldn't you tell me this earlier? This information is given to Taylor as they're walking in to their 1920s meetup with all of the other couples. And they're having a conversation, argument outside rather, and she's really upset, rightfully so, because she's like, why didn't you just tell me this before you have me in a situation where I'm about to be around all these people and I could have like been processing this or asking questions or whatever. He's like, hey, it happened so fast. I just liked the message, went about my day, didn't think about it, and that was pretty much that. And she's like, okay, well, I mean, I guess we got to do this now. He's looking and seeming very remorseful for having had this interaction with his ex-girlfriend, and they walk into the party seeming like everything is all right. But everything is not all right. Because at some point, he sits down and tells Ashley and Tyler that his ex-girlfriend texted him and he texted her back that he's getting married and he's just so happy and that's what's happening. Now, me and Taylor were like, baby, what? Hold on. Can I get the court reporter to read back the minutes? The minute said, you told me you had liked the text message. You didn't say that y'all had a full conversation, and that is a very big detail to leave out, Mr. Garrett. That's a huge detail. Also, why are we talking to another couple about what's going on with us? Are we not at a party? Why would we be having this conversation? I had no idea why Ashley and Tyler needed to be a part of that. It was very awkward. They were like, let me give y'all a minute alone because this ain't none of our business. We don't have no parts of this. But Taylor wasn't having it. Taylor was like, I need to get away from this man because I'm going to slap the dog. Like, she was done. So she leaves and is just completely distraught. And they kind of spend their episode in the thick of this drama, and Taylor basically being like, listen, there was no reason for you to have lied to my face the way that you did. They get into this back and forth conversation about the difference between facts and information, and it's giving very, like, he's leaning so heavy into this analytical side of his brain. Baby, you're wrong. Stop arguing whether it was a fact or a piece of information. It doesn't matter. Whatever you're arguing about doesn't matter. Please let it go and just figure out a way to make this woman feel better. So she's just not sure about where their relationship is going. She's already told him that she, can't do this marriage if she's not 200%, which is, I mean, I don't know. I thought we were just doing things out of 100%. But if she's not 200% ready to marry him, she can't do it. And the worst part of this is that they're supposed to be going to San Diego to meet all of her family tomorrow and basically get their blessing. She is unsure if she could do this trip. She's unsure about the relationship with Garrett. And this is the first time we actually see this couple really in the thick of something but deep. It seems like there's a lot of love between them, and hopefully they'll be able to at least talk through this, and hopefully they do make it to San Diego, because that's really important to Taylor and probably really important to this relationship overall. Hannah and Nick. So, Hannah's being pretty messy at this party, and I feel like I just don't understand why she is completely throwing him under the bus like this. She's talking about Nick and his intimate interactions, and that he doesn't like to do things with his mouth, basically, for her, and that he's very immature in the intimate sense, and she's trying to deal with that delicately, and she doesn't want to hurt his ego. Baby, when does it ever seem like you don't want to hurt his ego? All you ever do is hurt this man's ego. All you ever do is belittle this man and make him feel bad and treat him like he's your kid. I can't even say him right because I'm so mad. Treat him like he's your kid. It's just you don't care about him. So why are you making it seem like you care now when it comes to y'all intimate relationship? So she basically is telling, I feel like poor Ashley was getting everybody's tea in this episode, but she was looking for it though. She seemed like somebody who could handle a steeping pot, if you get me. But she's just listening and like, yeah, that's a big deal. He definitely needs to be able to do things with his mouth. I don't know what to tell you, sis. Like, good luck. But Hannah is just finding any reason to really not be with him. I don't know what she is waiting for. Maybe she's waiting to say no at the wedding. Maybe that's just what it is. Because right now, it doesn't make any sense that they are still in this situation. But it seems as though that night during their cocktail hour, one of her best friends on the show, Katie, who we never got to meet or see or know anything about, comes to the cocktail little time. But it seems as though during this cocktail hour, her best friend, who we never got to see anything of on the Love is Blind episode, comes to the cocktail hour and is basically like talking to Nick, because in the beginning, they had a connection for the first few days, and ultimately, Katie ended up breaking it off. Now, it seems as though in the pods, Hannah had made a really close friendship with a woman named Katie. Now, we didn't get to see Katie. We ain't know nothing about Katie. She was in the background. They didn't tell us who she was dating. But apparently, she was dating Nick for a few dates, and they actually were interacting pretty well and having a good time until she ultimately broke it off with Nick. And he didn't really know what happened, but hey, he was talking to Hannah. He was all in. He had kind of pretty much moved on. Now, before their night started, Nick was like, hey, there's people who might be there, might need some closure and want to have conversations, so it'll be interesting to meet everybody. And Hannah's like, so you need some closure with Katie? And he's like, no, not me. I'm just saying, like, people might want to do that, and this is a good place for people to actually have time to talk. So, of course, Nick and Katie end up having a conversation at the cocktail hour. And you know what? It was actually very, very respectful in my eyes. I felt like he didn't do anything that would have disrespected Hannah, that he was just very much talking about the evolution of their relationship and kind of looking for some clarity as to why they decided to not be together, or why she decided to not be with him. And it seemed as though for the first time on this show ever, somebody was actually speaking life into Nick and just being very just uplifting of who he is and who he can be. And that's something I think Nick needed to hear. And it was really nice to just see him have that moment. But ultimately, it seemed like Katie felt like, hey, Maybe we're not compatible because you're just not as mature as where I am. Katie's in her 30s. Nick is 28 or 27. She's like been there, done that. I've dated a lot of jock type guys. I've dated guys that have been like this. I just didn't want to do the same thing. And Nick is like, well, maybe you have a type. You just need to find the right type of that type. I don't know. I ain't never heard that information. You got a type, but it's the wrong type, but it's the right type. Baby, whatever. All I know is they had a very respectful interaction as far as I'm concerned. But you can see Hannah in the sidelines over there behind a tree. Like, what they talking about? She was just all in their business and just gearing up to be mad. We knew she was going to be mad because she's always going to be mad. She was mad. She was big mad. Now, the one thing I really did enjoy about this interaction between Hannah and Nick this time was Nick actually kind of stood up to Hannah and said, hey, man, it feels like you kind of talk down on me. You treat me badly. It seems like you think that, like, I'm not as important as you are, and I don't really like that, and it's kind of hurting my feelings. And for whatever reason, Hannah decided to say, well, if you don't act as an equal, I won't treat you as one. What is wrong with you, lady? What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you being able to treat somebody like a human? You don't have to be bad to people because you feel like they don't know what you know in life. You're being a mean girl. You're being a bully. And I was just happy that Nick addressed it, but it's really sad to see somebody treat somebody like that over and over and over again, because baby, if you don't want him, somebody does. Just let him go. Let him go. But she's still holding on, dragging him along and making him feel bad, because that's what her love language looks like. Oof, I wish I had some water, because this next part is gonna take everything in me. Alex and Tim. Now, Alex and Tim get a chance to sit down and have some time with Tim's family, and they are very sweet people. Tim's mom is a straight shooter. She's like, my son is difficult. He's like me. He's gonna be trouble. Alex is like, I get it. You know what? We both are a little strong. We both have like our things, but I'm willing to work through that. And Tim's mom gives a lot of perspective to what it's like to be in a marriage and how to withstand 40 years of just growing with someone. And I don't say withstand in a way like, how can you get through a marriage? I just mean that it takes evolution. And she's being very, very clear about the fact that it's got to be some push and pull. And you guys have to find a way to like have common ground, basically. So they seem to have a really good conversation. But for big baby Tim, that's not enough. So apparently at some point during this meetup, but for big baby Tim, that's not going to be enough, because apparently at some point during this meetup, Alex ends up taking a nap in the middle of the visit. Now, Alex says that she talked to the parents for 3-4 hours. She had a very long day, been at work, and she took a nap for an hour while they were there because she was tired, and Tim found that to be the ultimate disrespect. He said that his family had basically traveled 10 hours to be there by car, I'm assuming, and he felt like you need to stay up and stay awake and talk to them this whole time. They took 10 hours to get here. Now, I do understand that their family had a very long trip to get there, but she also had a long day too. And I don't know what the conversation was around, whether she was taking a nap or when she was taking a nap, or if she said, can you guys excuse me? I need a little bit of rest. I'm so tired, but I'm really enjoying meeting you. Whatever the case is, Tim was not having it. He wasn't having it. And he came through with the energy of somebody who was D-O-N-E done, baby. The way he talked to Alex just let us know that every single solitary moment that he was talking to Alex and overlooking Alex's comments about things that she didn't like and throwing fits and being a little offstandish when she's saying, hey, like, I like to cuddle and it would be nice if I had a partner who would cuddle with me sometimes. All of the things that she's bringing up that she needs in the relationship, he is just looking past. But right now, this is a big issue for him. And Tim comes in and he's like, I can't be with you. I can't do it. I can't do it. I won't do it because you didn't stay up and talk to my family when they drove 10 hours. And that's not somebody I can have to be a wife. And when I tell you Alex was gagged. all the way. She couldn't believe it. She was like, so you don't want to get married because I took a nap? No, I don't want to get married because of this and that. He had a list, baby. Tim didn't want to do this. I don't know what Tim wanted out of this situation other than to try to manipulate somebody into being the person that he wants in a relationship. And I think he thought that Alex would be that person, but I don't know how, because they talk time and time again how they're both very strong-minded and strong-willed. I don't know what kind of game he thought he was going to play with her, but basically he told her, I'm done, baby. I don't want no parts of you. I don't want to ever see you again. I don't ever want to see you again because she took a nap. So needless to say, their interaction at the cocktail hour was nothing. And nobody could believe what had happened between them. I still can't believe what happened between them. But I'll tell you this. I'm glad it happened. You are free, Alex. Both of y'all, go find somebody better for you. Because Tim was not him. He was not him. He ain't him. He won't ever be him. He's a big fat baby. He's a big fat baby who's going to cry about every single little thing and then make everything your fault and then say what you need to be doing and he's not doing anything. That's who Tim is. You don't need that. You deserve a real man. And Tim, you deserve some therapy. And that's my review of episode 10. I'm so mad I got to go. I'm so mad all over again. I got to go. But I enjoyed this episode with you guys. I can't wait to hear your thoughts and feelings on it. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you on episode 11.